Hi, when my daughter, my wife, and I were doing our book on relationships, one of the ladies I talked to said to me, I feel in my relationship with my husband like I'm wearing snowshoes and walking through tar. It's sluggish, it's draggy, there's no mystique, there's no excitement, there's no bounce. So in choosing this section on relationships and entitling it, How to Get and Have a Sexy, Low-Fat, Money-Making Relationship, we were very deliberate. We were saying, in fact, that one of the big problems out there is that people do not have poignant relationships, bright, eccentric, exciting, colorful relationships, which really paint the future for them. At the same time, we were saying something else, too. We were saying the reason for low-fat relationships is that too many of our relationships are sluggish and bloated. Bloated with mistrust, bloated with bias, bloated with bigotry, bloated with living past hurts and past scar tissue. We want lean relationships, relationships in which we get away from all that supplemental, meaningless stuff and get down to the heart of what makes people tick together. And money-making relationships is very straightforward. In the people you're going to be meeting on this program, we're going to talk to you how good relationships at home increase your profit at work, and how good relationships at work increase the way you're looked at home. Watch this program. It may well do what many people have said before, but this we really believe in. It may change your life. Good luck. North America would be dead if it weren't for family-run businesses. And yet the truth of the matter is that some of the greatest horror stories in business exist where fathers and sons, daughters and mothers, etc., just don't get along. As a matter of fact, there have been court cases that have utterly destroyed the gains that family businesses have made. In this case, though, we have a success story. Adam Niesner and Addy Niesner are truly legends in the field of entrepreneurship across North America and throughout the world. But Addy and Adam, it doesn't always work that way. What makes you different? Adam, after all these years of success, and on the way to this shoot, we were told that you were truly famous. What did you do that was different?
I don't think I've done anything different than follow a few basic rules.
And some of these are?
Some of these? Well, a long time ago, I decided if you want to become successful, there's a few things that you have to sacrifice.
Sacrifice? Like?
Time.
Relationships?
Relationships.
Ah, but isn't that a terrible price to pay for business?
Well, not if you have an understanding with your family right from the outset.
Okay. Now, how did you get that understanding with your family at the outset?
Well, many years ago, when I first went into business, this topic came up for discussion between myself and my wife.
You mean being in business? Setting the goals?
Setting the goals.
Having the mission?
That's right.
So you had a talk with your wife. Well, was your wife, incidentally, was a very charming lady. Was she always supportive of you in business? Did she really want you to commit all this time and energy? You're a 7-day-a-week, 365-day-a-year guy.
Okay.
Did she really know that this was the price you were going to pay for success?
I attribute this understanding to this conversation that we originally had. In our group, and I don't say this in a bragging manner, but in our group, we always seemed to have, when we first started out, we were in a small suite. In our group, we seemed to be the leaders. We were the first people that had built our own home.
Right.
Established our own business.
Right.
And there came times when, like you say, working 15, 16, 17 hours a day became ominous.
Sure.
And so it was decided, we sat down and I said, all right. I got some criticism from both sides of the family. I mean, her side and my side.
Success always buys some criticism.
Right. And we sat down and we decided, I said, now look, I had already managed to save a few $1,000s.
Right.
I said, all right, now what do you want me to do? Do you want me to invest this money and go to work for the government or go into industry, or do you want me to carry on? Now I said, what do you want? Do you want the good life eventually?
Right.
Or do you want the mediocre run-of-the-mill type of life.
So you painted a dream for her right from the beginning.
That's right.
But at the same time, we're told that a lot of women have often wanted security for their families rather than taking that big risk and that big chance. Was your wife different, or are we kidding ourselves about the myth of security? Isn't the greatest security, in a way, for you to do what makes you happy, what makes you tick, what drives you? Is this what your wife suggested?
Well, as far as I can remember, I have never had a day that I wasn't glad to wake up and go to work.
That's wonderful. And you weren't entirely busy because you had time to produce some children.
That's right.
One of them is sitting here with you. This is the heir to the throne. But you don't always get a chance to choose partners who happen to be your kids. For example, Adam, if you go out and choose a partner to do a co-venture with, you deliberately go after certain qualities. But in this case, you have Addy, and you're stuck with him because he is your boy. I'd like to think you like him. Is it important to like your son if you're going to be in business with him together?
Of course.
And do you like Addy?
Not only like him, I love him.
How do you feel about that, Addy? Do you like your father? How do you feel about being told, especially when you know we're here with viewers watching us, that your father loves you? Is that the kind of thing you feel comfortable with, or does this make you feel a little soft and mushy inside?
Right on. I'd be disappointed if it was any other way, because that's the same way I feel towards my kids. I think it's just a natural.
You like and you love them as well.
Oh, yeah.
And you
Big
tell
time.
them.
Yep.
In other words, we're not minded.
Don't have to tell them. Tell them by action.
Tell them by action.
That's right.
Okay. But you do demonstrate by action that this love and respect is there. But surely, there are times when the two of you feel like going at each other's throats. I mean, you can't be in agreement all the time. You may have the same dream, but do you have the same technique? Now, you're quite different generationally than your father. So aren't there times when you really want to go at each other, when you don't agree?
We've had those times, but they were from probably age 14 to 21.
What happened in that period, 14?
Well, in that period of time, his mother thought up until the age of 14 he was the perfect child.
The perfect child? We've always wanted to meet a perfect child. But maybe your mother may have been a little biased.
I would think just a slight...
At 14, the worm turned, she said.
The worm turned.
And there was a time from age 14 till 21, while he was going in high school and college, that often we nearly came to blows physically.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, what happened to produce this result? Like, did he suddenly turn, a Jekyll and Hyde situation here? What did Addy do?
Well, the thing was, I think there was peer pressure in those years.
Okay. There still is.
Terrific peer pressure.
Okay.
And you could hardly get the jeans off of him or the leather jacket for the laundry purposes.
Didn't wear it today, did you? The leather jacket?
Left it at home.
But fortunately, the day he graduated, and our two girls who are older than Addy, when they graduated, I financed them to a trip to Europe.
Yes.
So it was his turn, and I said, all right, why don't you make plans now that you graduated? Here's X number of dollars and take your trip. And he says, Dad, I'm going to forget the trip. Give me the money, and I'll get some new clothes, and I'll get my hair cut, and I'm checking into the office on Monday morning.
I'm going to forget about the money for the trip. I'm going to get some new clothes, get a haircut, and check into the office in the morning?
That's right.
That's a blinding change from the guy that was ready to take off and be a rebel and independent. Here you were coming back into the family womb and the family business. What made you make that decision? What led to this revelation?
I think a good education had a certain amount of influence. It helped me.
You were evolving?
Get my me get some goal set and some objective set, and maybe got me thinking a little bit straighter.
Well, Addy, in other words, you're saying that ultimately, as you got more educated and as you got a little older, you started seeing more of the importance of business through your father's eyes. And I suppose if we're talking to people out there that have sons and daughters they want to bring into business with them, you're saying don't be too impatient. Let the young man or the young woman evolve.